Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Dom once again, and I am here with another tutorial on how to slay your synthetic wig. Okay, this wig looks so real. Like, I absolutely slayed this. So I'm going to be showing you guys how I did this look. The wig did come pre-plucked, but I did have to do a little bit of my own like customization, especially around the hairline, just to like blend it a little bit better. This is about how much I took out, which isn't a lot really. When I did the blue wig a little while ago, it was a lot more, but this wig was a lot easier to work with. Now, I did not record me plucking the wig, but I do have pictures of the before and after the process, so that's what I have for you. If you guys want to see like how I do my plucking of my wigs, just let me know in the comments below, and then I'll do another video on the next wig. But for now, let's go ahead and then jump into our top supporters for last week's video. All right, let's give it up for this week's top supporters. We have Sam L or Ellie, and then we have Curly Beauty 13, and for our newest subscriber, we have Wendy's World. Thank you guys for your continued support, and I really appreciate it. If anyone else wants a chance to be on this list, all you have to do is 1, make sure you subscribe to the channel, 2, like the video, 3, drop a comment down below. Remember, these are picked at random, so best of luck to everyone. Alright, to start, we have some fresh cornrows straight to the back and some gelled edges. This is so our baby hairs don't get caught when we apply the wig cap. Speaking of, we have our wig cap, we have our rubbing alcohol, we have our got to be glued, ultra glued styling gel, and then we also have the got to be glued freeze blasting spray. I use both of these simultaneously, so we're going to go ahead and jump in it. I'm starting out by putting my wig cap on, and I'm pulling it all the way down. And then I'm going to cut some holes for my ear, that way it can hold very securely. Now that we have our wig cap on, we are using the Got to be Glued Freeze Blasting Spray, and I'm only applying this like barely where the edges are, and this is what's going to hold the wig cap to my scalp before I put the wig on. Now you can see me going back and forth with my hand just to make sure I'm laying the wig down like 100% flat, and then I'm going in with the blow dryer just to go ahead and hurry up that drying process. Now it's time to go ahead and start to cut our cap. As you guys can see, I brought that cap very far down, and I do that because when I start to cut it, I actually pull some of it back. That way I can get the cap to lay as flush as possible. Now you can see me really trying to work here. I don't really care if my wig cap is like looks all ugly by the time I'm done with it, because at the end of the day it's slayed anyway. I slowed this part down so you guys can really see how far back I'm pulling it. I'm going just above where my baby hairs start. In some areas the baby hairs show a little bit through, but that's okay because the next step that I'm going to be doing is going to lay all of that down flat. So now that I've cut my cap, you can see I have a lot of residue left on my forehead from that Got To Be Glued the freeze blasting spray. So what I'm going to do to get that off is I'm going in with a cotton pad, and I'm using a little bit of rubbing alcohol just to get that residue out. Yeah, you see all of that? All of that needs to be gone. You don't want to have any extra residue, any oils or anything like that on your forehead when you try to apply the lace, otherwise it will not stick. So rubbing alcohol is going to be your best friend. So now that I got all of that residue off, I'm going in with the tiniest amount of Got To Be Glued. I'm going to show you guys how I do it. So I'm only using enough, this won't even cover a dime, to be honest. Now, I'm doing this and I apply a little bit to the edge of the cap, and then I'm taking the end of that rat tail comb and I'm pushing it down to lay it flat. Like, you have to push really hard, that way it doesn't lift. I don't have like any like little snags or anything like that. And you go with a blow dryer at the same time just to make sure you can dry it flat as well. Like I said, my cap looks all kind of funky or whatever the way I cut it, but I honestly don't care about that because you're not going to see when I put the wig on anyway. So because I'm doing the ball cap method, I have to go in with some foundation just to try to cover up that color a little bit. You don't want your cap to show through your lace. So I'm using my skin tone foundation. I'm using a powder. I know some people use bronzer, but I like powder. And I basically just cover half of my head. And then once I do that, again, I go in with that rubbing alcohol just to clean up any excess that I might have left behind. Okay, now for the fun part, we have our wig. This is a hot pink lace front wig. I got this on Amazon. This is a synthetic wig. I got it for, I think, $38, and it looks freaking amazing. It did come pre-plucked, but I did have to go in and do my own plucking a little bit, just so I can customize my hairline. And it also came with the pre-plucked middle part, as you guys can see right there. Now, I didn't show this in the video because it takes too much time, but I basically went over all of my lace, and the same thing I did with that ball cap when I put my foundation on that, I did to the underside of the wig. So this is the before and this is the after of the pluck that I did. If you guys want to see how I plucked that, go ahead, let me know in the comments below. And let's jump into the installation. So as you guys can see here, I am just checking to make sure it fits, and you always want to double check your location before you glue anything down. And I feel like, you know, it looks pretty decent right here. Everything fits, you know, the ear to ear is good. So we're gonna go ahead, and I'm using some clips just to like try to pin down the baby hairs. Like, I have a fan running, so hair is just getting everywhere, and I kind of just don't want that. So I want to get the lace to lay as flat as possible while also lifting the hair out of the way. So now I pushed back the lace, I'm going to start to do the glue. The glue that I'm using in this video is the Ghost Bond XL. And I'm going to basically just be applying in little dots the perimeter of my forehead. And I do this 4 times, but I'm only going to show you 2 because it takes a really long time. So I'm going in very, very small dots, and I do both sides. And then I take the end of my rat tail comb to basically flatten out the glue. The same thing I did with that Got To Be Glued with the cap, I'm doing the same thing for the glue. So I'm only applying little dots at a time, and I'm taking the end of that rat tail comb just to flatten everything out. So this is the second layer of glue. We are going to do the same thing we did last time. Apply little dots, take the end of the rat tail comb to flatten this out. Again, I do this a total of 4 times, but I'm only going to show 2. One thing I forgot to mention, you want to wait until the glue gets semi-clear before you add a second layer. You don't want it to be completely dry yet, but you still want it to be tacky. If you see any white, it's not dry yet. You want to wait till it's, you know, somewhat clear before you add the next layer, and lastly before you add the wig. So here I'm showing you guys how I clean the edge of my rat tail comb. I do have a lot of glue buildup on it, so just like anything else, you're going to take a little bit of that rubbing alcohol, apply it to the cotton swab, and you're just going to clean your comb. Okay, I want you guys to take note. You see the color of the glue? That's how you know it's dry. So I'm going to go ahead and start to apply my lace. I'm moving very, very slow. I'm applying the middle part first. I'm trying to get it as close to the edge as possible, and then I work my way around my forehead. Just to make sure it's super stuck down, I'm going in with that rat tail comb again, and I'm just pushing the edges just to make sure everything is smooth down. I don't want the oils to my fingers to get on the glue, then it'll start lifting. So, you know, trying to cut down as much as possible. Now I'm going to go ahead and start getting ready to cut the lace. I'm going to pull the hair back. As you guys can see, this already looks super natural, and I haven't even added the baby hairs yet. So the first thing that I do when cutting the lace is I start off by cutting out the space for my ears so I know it fits snug all the way around my head. Now that I have my ear pieces cut out, I'm actually going to go ahead and do another step to secure the lace even further. I'm parting the hair maybe about an inch from the hairline. I'm using some of the Got2b glue, the freeze blasting spray again. I'm going to spray the inside of that part just to make sure that part will be secure. That way I have two layers. I have the first layer with the glue, and then I have the second layer, which is like an inch behind my hairline. So when I start cutting the lace, I cut it in 3 pieces. I cut it in the middle, and then I cut 2 angles. And this way, it's easier for me to get the whole thing. And you can see me going back and forth as I push and pull the lace up and down, trying to get the best angle. I don't cut it straight across because I want the hairline to look natural. I know a lot of people use the razor method, but I haven't tried that. So I'll probably do that in the next video. But right now, I'm just using some scissors, and I got really, really close to the hairline without actually cutting any of the hairs. You guys guys can see, after I cut the entire lace, I have a lot of residue left over, and this is from the glue. So what I'm doing is, again, I'm going in with some rubbing alcohol and a cotton pad, and I'm going to try to remove most of that glue away so you don't see that white overcast. After I do that, I'm going to go ahead and tie the hair up, tie the edges down with a scarf, and that should help the drying process so it won't be white anymore. So here I'm going back in with the Got To Be Glued, the gel, that black bottle, and I'm doing the same thing that I did with the cap. I am going over the edge, the very edge of the hairline, to secure and lay down flat that wig again, just in case I pulled any pieces up when I was cutting the lace. Now that that is all done, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and tie my edges up with a scarf super tight so they lay flat and allow them to dry with a blow dryer. I probably sat for about 45 minutes before I moved on. That's because I ate and did a whole bunch of other stuff. So this is how it looks when I am done. Now it is kind of light, but that's okay. I'm going to go over that with my powder foundation again just to try to blend that in a little bit more. I'm going to start the baby hairs. I'm not going to show you the whole thing. I'm only going to show you one side and the middle because you're going to get the gist of it. So basically, I take a little piece of the hairline, and here I'm just trying to get the shape correct because I don't like my baby hairs to look super thick and full. That's weird. So I just took a very small amount and I cut at an angle going downwards. That way it looks natural, and I'm using a little bit of that Got To Be Glued, the gel, again, the black bottle, the same amount that we use for the wig cap, and I just put that on the baby hairs, and I use a toothbrush. Trigger alert, I use a toothbrush to lay down my baby hairs. I know everyone does their baby hairs different, but I like my baby hairs to be super sparse, so I only took a little bit, and you know, I'm still working with baby hairs. It's not my strongest point, but I'm making it work. This actually was like my better applications. So I'm doing the same thing on the lower piece. I'm just taking a little bit of hair, I'm going to cut it downward at an angle, and I'm using some of the Got To Be Glued gel to basically hold it in place. Just as a whole, I don't want my edges to be crunchy, and I've done that in the past, so I figured using less gel is better. Now for my sideburns, I don't really know what I'm doing. I just take a little bit of hair and I just cut down at an angle, and I kind of just leave it like that. Like, whose sideburns are like super full, you know? So okay, fast forward. Now all of my edges are done. Now we're gonna go ahead and do the baby hairs for my forehead. This part is really tricky for me. I still haven't figured out the best technique to do that. Like, I could leave it like this, but that still looks kind of unnatural to me. So I'm taking a little bit of hair again, and I'm gonna do the same thing I did with my edges all the way around, taking a small piece, cutting it at an angle, and then trying to, you know, I guess blend it in as best I can. I'm gonna fast forward to when my entire edges are done, and I'm going to wrap them up and let them sit for a little while they dry. It's been about 15 minutes since I let these dry. Now I'm carefully taking off the scarf so I don't pull any of the hairs up. And you guys can see the hairs are looking very natural. This hairline is looking flawless right now. This is the best that I could do. Like, this is maybe the 6th time that I've actually done a lace front installation, and this is one of my better ones. Now, there are some pieces where you can see the glue is still kind of white, so I'm going in with some liquid foundation this time. This is Warm Caramel by LA Girl, and I'm just taking a little brush and I'm just blotting those areas. That way it can look more natural. It is a little bit more bright, so I went in with my powder foundation on top of that again just to blend that in a little bit more, and this is the final look. I absolutely love this wig. It's super nice. I love the color, and I'm really happy with the way this installation came out. If you guys want to see more videos like this, go ahead, let me know. Do you like this look? Do you like this wig? Do you like this color? Let me know. Drop a comment down below. Like, share, subscribe. Tell your girlfriends or tell your friends, you know, gender neutral. And I will see you guys in the next one.